This is VSiN by the Books on VSiN, the sports betting network.
We begin hour number 2, VSiN by the Books. I'm Dave Ross here at Circa Sports, fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada. Our closer, Jensen Lewis, back home in the land of Cleveland, Ohio. Would you want to go to San Antonio, Jensen? Is that the type of thing? Have you been to a Final Four?
I have not, but I know that as they try and get this approval up here in Cleveland for the Brook Park Dome, where the Browns will call home in the near future, that is part of the idea, is to get a Final Four here in the 216. So anxious to see if it does come here. Perhaps I'll call in a few favors to get there. But I don't know about you, man. Like I'm going with Wes Reynolds. I wish that they were in these NBA arenas, and I know it's a money grab, but the intimacy of it. I mean, if we can play an NBA Finals, in opposing, home gyms there and home arenas, gosh, man, that would be really neat. I think just for the intimacy, and then you want to talk about driving up a ticket price. Ooh. What's a get-in price for a 20,000 seat NBA arena to try and see a Final Four national title?
That would be something. I've been to a couple of them. Atlanta back in 2013. Syracuse was in the Final Four that year. And covered one for George Mason back in the day in Indianapolis. And I'll give it up to Wes Reynolds again. Indianapolis does do it right. Like those smaller cities, it feels right. San Antonio's going to do a great job with it. I just don't know. Obviously, Houston's going to be the home team. Right. And I don't know that that's going to play in because, again, I know people think, well, it should be this huge advantage. It's still about ticket sales. You're going to have all your Dookies are going to be there as well for that one. And then the phenomenon is the team that loses, they're going to be selling all those tickets for Monday night. Right. Those two teams that lose, those fan bases are like, we're not sticking around here in San Antonio past Sunday. We're getting flights out of here. So those fan bases are going to have the opportunity to be there for Monday night. We don't have to give out our official picks until the show is over. But again, it is Florida still 2.5-point favorites over Auburn. Duke still 5.5 at DraftKings, 5.5-point favorites over Houston. And I thought the conversation with Thomas Gable in the last hour was spot on in that the officiating, if you want to wait and see how it's going to be officiating, something you and I have talked about this week, if it looks more like a rugby match, that would get you to the Cougars. I just don't know who it benefits potentially in game one.
So for our March bracket challenge, my two picks, I put them in the Florida Auburn under at 160.5, as we know, already down to 159.5. And then I did take Houston +5, and I'll probably bet them at +5.5, but nothing in pocket. But that again, and I'll probably play the under in the Duke and the Houston game. I cannot get away, Dave, from this feeling that Kelvin Sampson is going to throw the kitchen sink.
Oh, yeah.
At John Shire, at that group. They do have the home faithful behind them, at least for one night. And I do like that they will have the second game there. So they'll get the crescendo. They'll get, whatever happens for Florida Auburn to start. But those are my two contest plays. And I do think that we get a very tight first matchup as well as the second one too.
All right, I'll give it away, give the store away right now. I'm with you. I took Houston in the contest plays as well. That's already in pocket +5. I'm probably going to end up getting there with you at 5.5 here. And I did take Auburn plus the 2.5, and I just felt like, again, we talked about it with Matt Fortuna in hour number 1 as well. If you go back to that game in February, you're 11-point favorites, and now you're 2.5-point dogs. I mean, the value is there on the Auburn side, that's for sure. But again, Broom's got to be healthy. We'll find that out very quickly in that game. But I'm going to go with the fact that, hey, if he could play somehow and Willis Reed that last week, you got a whole week to get ready. You hope you're young, you're energetic, you can bounce back. Let's hope that for Auburn's sake, they're going to get the best version of Janae Broom. We're going to talk about this, of course, with Tim Murray in hour number 3 coming up here. So much more breakdown of this, and Zachary Cohen breaking down the NBA as well. Look, if you have not checked out, we do have a new show here on VSiN. It's pretty darn cool. It's VSiN at the Track. And it's leading up to, we got UFC 315, we got the Masters. Well, in horse racing, it's all about the Kentucky Derby. So that show is up. It's live today and every Friday leading up to the Triple Crown. So they're going to have key Derby prep races this weekend. Going to break down the top contenders for this year's Running of the Roses. So our experts here, Mike Somich, Aaron Halterman, today, 2:10 p.m. Eastern on the VSiN YouTube channel. At VSiN Live for expert analysis and insights. Do not miss it. VSiN at the Track, streaming live. 2:10 p.m. Eastern as we count you down to the Triple Crown. It's look, we love the Final Four. We can't wait. And then you go, oh, man, you got to have this lull. Football's over. Now March Madness is over. Man, you got these massive events that we're going to get to, certainly in the UFC with Augusta and the Kentucky Derby right around the corner. So plenty to get to. But without further ado, hour number 2, it's time for our highlights and headlines.
Help your bottom line with today's highlights and headlines.
We got more to get to here in hour number 2 with our highlights and our headlines. We told you about it hour number 1 with Freddie Freeman. He's out, for quite some time now from a shower injury. I don't know if we're getting the full story on that. Geno Smith, of course, signing a 2-year extension out here in the desert. How about this with the Reds? Oh, boy. They lost for a third time. It's not losing 3 in a row. That's not the story. They lost 1-0 for the third time in a row. This has not happened since 1960. Jensen, I was asked yesterday, what's your early, knee-jerk, over-the-top reaction? This is before the game, and I tweeted back that the Reds are going to lose every game 1-0. And then it happened again. Jensen, this is insane. You're wasting great pitching with 0 offense.
All right, so that's kind of where I'll start with it. Glass half full. Your pitching staff has been phenomenal.
Been great.
And so that you have to look at it from – we've played 7 games. If you are the Atlanta Braves, how much would the Atlanta Braves love to be where the Reds are at this point? All right, so that's one way to look at it. The other part is divisional opponents too, where Milwaukee has, figured out a couple of ways the last couple of years to limit Cincinnati's offense. I think they'll make the adjustments. Listen, they're still +4 in the run differential, and I know a lot of that is because they scored 14 runs before this 3-game losing streak. All that being said, Dave, I'm not worried in the slightest about this Reds offense. I do think you get these little skids from time to time throughout the year. I'd rather get it done now. Get it out of the way, and then when the weather warms up, you and I have seen enough at the Great American Launching Pad that it'll just take one crooked number for this offense to break through.
And that's the thing, this. You've been in those clubhouses when you're pressing, and clearly when you've been shut out 3 straight times after scoring 14 runs, and you've done something that we just haven't seen in, a century. And then all of a sudden you go, well, how do we get that first one? Once you get that first one, can you exhale a little bit and then go, all right, the floodgate's going to open up pretty soon?
Yeah, like I said, it could be just a solo home run from TJ Friedl, or it could be, back-to-back doubles from McLean and Ellie in the first inning to be, okay, we're good, settle in. And again, that's why I go back to, if you're getting blown out 3 straight times, completely different mindset heading into tonight's affair and over the weekend. Nick
Martinez is going to be on the bump today. Do not have the starter yet for the Brew Crew. -$1.05 for the Reds, -$1.15 for the Brewers. That total, 8. You better hope Milwaukee gets 8 if you're backing that over right now. Interesting news out of the great state of Ohio. Not with the Brownies, but how about with the Bengals? Katie Blackburn, we've seen her in Hard Knocks in years past. The executive, she said the team could, quote, go wherever we wanted. She said that during the NFL meetings going on down there in Florida. If you're a Bengal backer, what do you make of Blackburn saying this?
Well, we've seen in the middle of the night, the old Art Modell. It's still too soon up there. Baltimore stole our Super Bowl. So the lease is for the specifics. Lease at Paycor Stadium runs through the end of next year. In 2026, there is an option for a 2-year extension. I know that the relocation idea has been because the facilities, and a lot's been made of, they still don't have like a world-class practice facility, yet you have a world-class quarterback, a world-class offense. Like, let's go here. Okay, this is the NFL. People spend money in the NFL, all right? It's rare that you see a lot of cheapness in this league. I don't know. I think this is posturing to me. I think this is the hard part about playing chicken zone, when to flinch. So I don't see the Bengals moving anytime soon.
And again, this isn't on the good people of Cincinnati, right? Like it's
no,
interesting to hear the executive kind of say, hey, we do whatever we want. It's like, wait. You guys are the ones that are pinching the pennies, right? It's not the fan base that's pinching the pennies. So you're right, though. We've seen it. If you've got a sense of history, you know what happened, certainly in the middle of the night, as you mentioned, with the Mayflower, leaving Baltimore for Indianapolis so many moons ago. We know with Modell leaving Cleveland to go to Baltimore. They do happen. Look at the Rams. They've been all over the map. I know St. Louis still isn't over that, losing the Rams to L.A., and we know the Raiders, they've been on the move. So, Jensen, history tells us teams move. We just don't see this happening right away.
I know it's a shock right now because the fact that it's out there, and we have different places that we have the London series now, and a lot of different people are like, oh, we're gonna have a team there at some point. It remains to be seen for a home base to be there, but I think this is posturing for me. They know they need the upgrades, and they're trying to do everything possible to get a better deal.
The London Bengals, does that have a ring to it?
No. London Football Club, but that's soccer.
Yeah, that'd be soccer. Yeah. We don't like soccer over here. No, we do, just not as much. Are you ready to take your sports betting to the next level? If you are, check out Sharp Plays at sharpplays.com. Could be your secret weapon. Now, since 2011, they've been building trusted relationships with major sports books and sports insiders worldwide. They provide daily updates on what top professional sports bettors and betting groups are wagering on, so you're always ahead of the game. That is not all. They've launched a cutting-edge AI betting analyst that's going to provide you with more selections, reports, giving you the edge you need to win. The best part, you can check out the Sharp Plays free content anytime. So you're going to get real-time betting action, reports, alerts, and more through email and X directly from the pros. Plus, explore all the records, including detailed online logs, right on the website at sharpplays.com. So when you join Sharp Plays, you're going to be joining a team that never has had a losing year. How about that? So you got nothing to lose. Check it out today. Get access to the best betting insights at sharpplays.com. Saturday nights are made for fighting. We'll break it down next year on VSiN by the Books.
You're tuned in to VSiN by the Books, right here on VSiN.
We are back, VSiN by the Books on this Friday edition. Top of the hour, we're going to have Tim Murray join us, and then Zach Cohen's going to join us in hour number 3 as we get a lot of hoops talk, get you ready for the Final Four. And we're getting so close, obviously, in the NBA to the second season there in the NHL as well. But Jensen, Sir Elton John once sang that Saturday nights are made for fighting. I don't think of Elton John as the fighting type.
No.
Right? But look, I guess Elton likes to stir it up a little bit. So we're going to get to that here because we do have an interesting fight card. Obviously, a lot of eyes going to be on UFC 315 next week. We'll have some great guests throughout the week to help break that down for UFC 315 in Miami. But this is going to be here, and it's going to be a fight night card. And I do want to start off here with the main event because we had Lou Finicaro on yesterday. And Josh Emmett, the numbers keep going against him here, Jensen. And he's up to plus 260 now. If you're looking here, this is at DraftKings.com right now against Lerone Murphy in this main event. And you know, Jensen, I like to look at these two-way handicaps. Mm-hmm. And I think the way you should look at this, if you want to bet the big favorite in Murphy at minus 325, I would not lay that price point. I could only look to Emmett in the dog price here. And I will be on Emmett at some point at plus 260. But if you like Murphy, look to the win by decision prop. Because as we discussed yesterday with Lou, this is not a big puncher. This is a slick puncher. This guy's going to stay on the outside. He's going to use that ring generalship. We use that term a lot in boxing. He's going to use that in a smaller cage to try to keep away from Emmett. But the problem is that smaller cage they have out here in the desert. Emmett, we talk about this with Houston and Duke. He wants to crowd you. He wants to make this thing dirty. He wants to get in your face. And he's got the power to knock out Lerone Murphy. So to me, like, I'm going to look at this, Jensen, and say, if you want to play Murphy, play him win by decision. And if you like Emmett, you can play the price point at 260. He could win a decision, but more than likely to me, it's going to be Emmett by KO. That's the way I'd kind of two-way handicap that main event.
Yeah, I would agree. You would think the technical striking here from Murphy and pace too. Would you handicap the pace that if you feel Murphy is going to outclass Emmett there, then he'll be able to kind of outlast him, if you will, to go into your decision idea. Would you rather, and I know we don't want this to go to the cards if you're an Emmett backer, because as you said, you feel like it's Murphy by decision. Any other method of victories? You just take maybe a double chance there with knockout or submission, or do you want to just take the KO period for Emmett if you don't want to play the plus 260?
I don't see that this is the type of fight that goes down to the ground. And here's what's interesting since 24 hours from our conversation with Lou. Yesterday at this time, Jensen, the total for this potential 5-round main event fight here was juiced at $1.88 to the over 4.5. Today, it's up to $2.15. So the money is coming in on the over, which is why Murphy has been going up as a favorite to 325, which, again, if you want the Murphy side, that's the prop to look at, is that over. Because I'm with you, it's going to be a paintbrush. He's going to stay in the outside. He's going to be the slick boxer. And there is a chance that Emmett can't get to him in his advancing age. There's a very real possibility of that. But do I see Emmett getting a submission? Probably not. I mean, if he gets close, obviously, like the fight goes down to the ground, I think it is going to favor Emmett down there. But I don't think it gets there. So to me, it's Emmett at plus 260. Outside shot, he wins a decision. The more likely outcome here is going to be Murphy by decision. That's the better way to play it. But I would not recommend laying that 325. Another fight that I've got on my card right now is Joe Anderson Brito. This is in the co-main event here against Pat Sabatini. Another fight we discussed yesterday. And Jensen, you mentioned that double chance. This is where out here in Vegas, and I rail against this all the time, the method of victory props out here are not as good as you're going to get at other jurisdictions across the country. I.e., I would play Brito inside the distance. And
I like that.
There's your double chance, right? Because I could see Brito getting a submission against a guy in Pat Sabatini who wants to take the fight down to the ground. Because Sabatini's one trick, and it's a great trick, is wrestling. So if he stands and this fight does not get down to the ground, Brito's going to knock him out. And so that's where I've gone here. I've played that at plus $1.20. But now I've got to hold my breath because if Pat Sabatini keeps shooting and the fight does get taken down to the ground and he gets reversed on the ground, I could see Brito trying to look to lock in something and get that submission, and then your KO prop at plus $1.20 does not cash. So depending on where you are, America, and where you're listening and watching this, you can find those inside the distance props. They're just not readily available out here in Las Vegas.
Yeah, I wrote down what Brito's finishing prowess, right? 88% finish rate. And so would an underplay, like, again, if you're not a method of victory person, do you think an underplay on the total rounds there is something you would consider?
I love where your head's at. Here's the problem with that is that in this 3-round fight here, it's starting at a round and a half. So they're only giving you 7.5 minutes to work. But Jensen, that's exactly the point, though. And it's juiced to the over, by the way, $1.54. There is a lot of finishing potential here. So if you don't want to pick a victor, you could play that under at plus $1.20. That's the same price point that I'm getting from Brito at plus $1.20. I just have a little bit more time to work if it depends if it goes all 3 rounds. But I'm absolutely picking up what you're putting down there, that if Sabatini gets the fight down to the ground, he's going to look for those submissions from top. But if Brito gets there, I'm going to hold my breath and go, oh, my God, don't submit him. Posture up, get that ground and pound. That's what I'm looking for. We talked about Chan Ho Lee. This feels like one of those welcome to the UFC moments here for me. I'm going to back the Prodigy at $1.25, one of those smaller price points that you're going to get here in the main card. And Jensen, I talk about this all the time. You have to look at why fights are made. And when you're putting this kid in this spot as the third to last fight of the night, that means we're expecting some brilliance out of Chan Ho Lee. I'm going to play him and get him $1.25, even a better price there. And then on the prelim card, my last play officially that I have is I'm a big Diana Balbicha person. I love her. Love her personally, love her professionally. Against Deanna Barbosa, I don't know that I like her chances. You see that Barbosa has swelled up to 1,000.
Yeah. Woo.
I'm not laying that, right? Balbicha, you want to come back on Deanna, it's plus 650. Here's where I'm going to play it. It's telling you right now that we expect Barbosa to wipe out Balbicha. If she does, I'm going to bank on the fact that that's going to happen inside of 2.5 rounds. So I'm making a much smaller price point at $1.35 that, hey, if I get Balbicha, if she wants to stay in the UFC, she's got to do something dynamic. I don't expect her to win. I expect Barbosa to win. But if I don't want to lay 1,000 to win 100, here's how we shorten that. I'll play the under. That if Barbosa is everything we expect her to be here, the Brazilian sensation gets this done in less than 2.5 rounds. And look at the price point. We're taking that big favorite. We've knocked that down to $1.35.
All right, so something you and I always like to do, and we'll probably put it together tomorrow, but if we workshop both the prelim and the main card,
yep.
And for our world famous weekly parlay that we like to do. Now, we usually do 4 legs for people that have not followed us before. And so we like to workshop this not only in real time, but also we'll do a little bit more tomorrow. Anything that stands out immediately for parlay legs? I know Barbosa obviously would be an easy one. But are there a couple other ones that stand out for you that we can start to build with?
Now, sometimes we've been so close on a lot of these, like 3 out of 4, and we've taken some big dogs to get us home there. I do like in that prelim card to go the Belbicha Barbosa under, and we could put that in $1.35. That's here at Circa. So that's the price point I have locked in there. I would play Chan Ho Lee at $1.35 as well. So 2 small favorites here at $1.35. Yep. I do like the Brito KO prop at plus $1.20. Now, I do have to check and see if there's something going on with this Kennedy and Nchukwu fight because I'm not seeing a line posted today. Today's weigh-ins. And so sometimes you get this, and all of a sudden those fights get taken away. So I don't see an active line on that. So if I had to give us a 4th to get home, it might get a little bit dicey. But I like Gerald Meerschaert, GM3 against Brad Tavares. Now, he's at plus $1.64 here, Jensen. If we really want to get spicy, if GM3 gets this done, he gets it done via submission.
Yes.
You can
I saw that too.
Oh, yes. There you could really spice up that parlay if you want to put that in. Because, Jensen, we're going to be getting close to 3-1, if not over 3-1 on the GM3 side. It's kind of like that main event a little bit we talked about. If Tavares wins, he's on the outside. The fight never hits the canvas, and he wins possibly by decision or knocks him out. But if GM3 wins, play that submission price, and we'll really boost that parlay up.
Yeah, the only thing I was, and again, the safer play probably just to take him instead of the method of victory because you believe Tavares pretty solid from the takedown defense standpoint. So that would be the only thing I guard against, right?
That's it. And he really is good. That's exactly right. We saw it against Chris Weidman where, the All-American tried to get him down to the ground and couldn't do it. So if Tavares can stuff those takedowns by GM3, but he's so sneaky, that the Milwaukee favorite, that if he can figure out a way to get you down to the ground, then you're in a world of hurt. It could end very quickly. So great handicap. Can GM3 get the fight down to the ground? If he does, that submission play is live. Check out Edge Boost if you have not done so as of yet. It's a first ever bank account that's built just for bettors. It ensures all your gambling transactions are approved. No usage fees, no minimums. 100% approval. All you have to do is go to edgeboost.bet. Use the promo code BOOK. $25. They'll match that deposit right away at edgeboost.bet.
You're tuned in to VSiN by the Books, right here on VSiN.
We are back, VSiN by the Books. Dave Ross and Jensen Lewis. Boy, next week, you should never miss any of our shows if you're listening. Sirius Channel 158. Yep. We are going to have a cavalcade of stars to get us ready for the Masters because I know everybody can't wait to bet at Augusta. But we do have one more tournament going on right now before we get to Augusta next week. We're going to give out our plays that we've already got in pocket. But, Jensen, the last 2 weeks in the PGA Tour, as I like to call him, Cashmere Keith. If you watch Keith Mitchell, likes to wear a lot of cashmere. He looks smooth out there in the golf course. And it was a couple weeks ago you texted me about Keith. And I said, this is what he does, right? He normally gets out there. He's like one of those rabbits. And then normally, sadly, Keith doesn't hold up for the whole tournament. But he's normally, the last 2 weeks, a share of the lead on the PGA Tour. So if you have those first-round leader bets, I get it. People are starting to gravitate to Keith Mitchell in those first-round leads. Jensen, he was in the clubhouse, went off early yesterday, and was 8 under par with a 64. And too clear. Like there's you never want to say it's over. But, I'm thinking if you've got Cashmere Keith tickets, you could probably make some nice dinner reservations right now thinking you're going to get a really nice ticket to cash. And I know one of my boys back home in Virginia Beach did have that ticket. It was a great angle to play. And we're like, hey, we don't see who's coming out of we're thinking it could be Ludwig Oberg, it could be one of the bigger names to come out. Sam Ryder makes the turn with a 33, 3 under par. And you go, well, that's good, but it would take 6 more birdies to beat me in 9 holes. And then Jensen, he goes par on 10.
Oh, man.
So you're going, well, unless he literally almost birdies every hole in, we're going to cash. Sam Ryder proceeds to go birdie, 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 par, birdie, birdie, birdie. 6 of the last 7 for a 30 on the back, a 63 overall. Your overnight leader with 9 under par. Look, we throw around bad beat a lot. If you had Keith Mitchell, it's not so much that you lose. It's that you don't even get a cut. You don't get a share. You don't get a tie. He beats you outright by 1. That, my friends, is a bad beat.
All right, well, let's see how old Sammy does, because he's got to turn it right around here and get going this morning, right? So anxious to see what that momentum carries over to the front 9. But boy, what a finish! God, that's sore. I mean, what do you do? You pacing around the living room watching that, just thinking like, how in the heck is this guy gonna beat me? Yeesh. And he had to birdie the last 3 too. Oh, it's terrible.
And the one on 18, he stuck it to within a foot, so you knew it was over right away. He took all the drama out of that on that par 5.
Yep.
But Sam Ryder now has vaulted here with the live odds today. He has vaulted to be the favorite here to win this tournament. This is an angle I do like to play. I'm fading Sam Ryder today. And I've got him in a head-to-head here against Carson Young. I got plus money on Carson Young, who had a very good first day as well. And it's not so much that I'm playing Carson Young. We see how hard it is traditionally. I don't care who you are, if you're one of the elite players or if you're a Sam Ryder, to back up after shooting a 63, to back that up with something else in the 60s. I think a good day for Sam Ryder today is 71, is 70, 1 under, 2 under. But I would not look to Sam Ryder today in those individual markets. There's our guy, Maverick McNeely, 20-1. Jensen, you got some names on this first board, right?
Yeah, I think that pre-flop, there was some real intrigue here about British Jesus. And I had him as a top 5, including ties on DraftKings. 3-1, I felt was a pretty intriguing price to jump in there. And again, we're waiting for him to win, so I can't put some hard-earned money on him to win just yet. Now, next week at the Masters, stay tuned. Definitely have a play on Tommy Fleetwood there. So I was watching Tony Finau early yesterday. A little bit up and down, looked a little bit shaky with his cadence, but still top 10 at plus 320. I believe the cut right now, and I think Finau's at -3, so he's top 12. Tied for 12, I should say, at the moment. He'll tee off this afternoon. Cut right now is even, as we that's the projected cut before our first group tees off here in that first group. Rico Hoey, Daniel Berger, who I have in pocket at 30-1 to win it all. He is at 2 under, headed into round number 2. So as I look kind of down the odds board here, I would say if you want to jump in on some outrights, I would think we got to go with our boy Maverick McNeely at 22-1, little dark horse candidate here. Just considering what he's been able to do already in round 1. A lot of people will look at Kashmir Keith here too, and 5-1 might be a bit short for people to want to jump in on that, but that's still okay. If I'm looking also further down the board, of course, the big Swede, Ludwig at 30-1 could get hot at any time.
Mm-hmm.
Our boy, Aldrich Potgieter at 35-1 is a good one. And I think that's probably where I would stop at the moment. I mean, hey, Jordan Spieth at 8-1. Any interest there? He's a 3rd betting favorite right here in front of Tommy Fleetwood. 8-1 interest you at all?
Well, I'll say this about Jordy Spieth. We're going to have Tyler Fulgham on the program next week to talk some Masters with us as well. And Tyler and I have had a dialogue about Spieth for a long time. And he's getting hot at the right time. I don't know that I like him to win this week. We'll get to our Masters picks next week. But these are something to look forward to. And you mentioned Tommy Fleetwood, too. He's never won here in the PGA Tour stateside. So he's never done it in the United States. But if you see Spieth and Fleetwood at 9-1, to me, it's not so much about Spieth winning this week. It's about Spieth winning next week. Fleetwood, it might be about winning this week. it might be about trying to get off the schneid there. So I'm not going to get mad at you. Brian Harmon also, of course, is a major champion, winning the Open Championship a couple years ago. He's at 12-1, trying to regain that form. Ludwig at 30-1. I like the number, but this is a guy that finished second last year at Augusta. I wonder if he's really thinking about winning this week or, again, honing his skills for next week. So I'm with you. I kind of like Fleetwood. If it made me make a play there in a short play that I don't have in pocket, I would look to British Jesus here 9-1 to finally get off the schneid stateside.
All right, and your boy Denny McCarthy, little Denny, top 5-1. Again, one of the great putters, if not the best putter on tour. So I had to add him as well. If I look a little bit further here, Dave, I think that Keith Mitchell. Again, you're thinking about guys from a placement market standpoint. If you are someone who believes that Duke is going to win it all, I love to do these placement markets. Can we interest anyone in a Kashmir Keith top 5 with a Duke money line for the Final Four tomorrow?
I don't hate it. I tell you what I do like. We'll
know the results Sunday, so we'll be in good shape.
I like your Potgieter selection. Here's a guy that's so close to winning on the PGA Tour here. Super talented, uber talented when it comes to young guys on the tour. So Potgieter right now, maybe not to win, but we'll get your top 5 at plus 550 for Potgieter.
Love that.
And then you played that with, you're suggesting maybe playing that with Duke in a money line play?
Yeah, if you're someone who believes that they get it done, you want nothing to do with the spread. I've always enjoyed these markets, the placement markets, to help drive up maybe a money line price. And it's not like Duke's money line price is out of this world, but a minus 270, you put it with a plus 550, you're looking really nice plus money on Duke money line, and then take those winnings. If you feel that Duke is going to win it all, roll that over and play them whatever favorite they would be against Florida or Auburn.
I love where your head's at there. So those top 5 markets, good markets to play. Just full transparency, because we like to do that in the Lewis Ross administration here. I do have Little Denny at 30-1. He's now drifted a little bit to 55-1 with that 1 under par round. Look, I don't think those guys at 1 and 2 under par are dead to potentially win this tournament. Got Maverick McNeely in pocket at 42-1. That's now been shorted to 22-1 with his stellar play yesterday. Bud Cauley's still pretty much right around there, 50, 55-1. I got him at 52. And maybe the disappointment was Tom Hoagie yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Not a good day for Hoagie with those irons, which you would think would be in vogue this week. So kind of writing that ticket off. But we do have we have to say, get some rabbits out there, start to run up that leaderboard. And I'm with you. Maverick McNeely, he got to 17 yesterday at 5 under par, then 3-putted that green in par 18. He could be at 6 under par right now. So not mad at you for some of those placement markets. And very quickly, your best placement market that you like today that you already have in pocket? That's
I think I'll still take Tony Finau there and I have him already at plus 320 for a top 10. But yeah, Fleetwood's probably going to win out here as far as that placement market, just knowing what he can do, wants to create some momentum headed into next week in Augusta.
So you can look at that there at DraftKings top 5. That includes ties. Fleetwood is plus $1.50. So kind of certainly like where your head's at there and maybe do some parlays there, because I think Fleetwood will be around for the rest of the weekend. If you can get, you want to get some NBA prop analysis, check it out at Unabated. It includes expert profile player prop projections for every game real time. NBA news regularly first to release, breaking news that's going to help bettors, who's playing, who's sitting, all that sort of thing. Sit-start projection scenarios to see a player's status, how it's going to impact their projections of their teammates. Access to Unabated's expert team, including Justin Fan, through their Discord channels and regular interactive live streams. So go to unabated.com/VSiN for subscription info. That's unabated.com/VSiN. We are back with News or Noise next.
You're tuned in to VSiN by the Books, right here on VSiN.
We are back. VSiN by the Books. Dave Ross and Jensen Lewis. Going to have Tim Murray join us in the top of the next hour. We're going to have Zach Cohen join us in hour number 3 to talk NBA as well. So we got you covered pillar to post with hoops here in the next hour. But right now, Jensen, it's time to answer the question. Is it news or a whole lot of noise?
Is it news?
Corleone is a man who insists on hearing bad news immediately.
Or just noise?
Are you going to act like this is news? Just noise. This is noise.
Let's separate the impactful from the insignificant with one simple question. News or noise?
Jensen, if this story was a couple days ago, I would say, oh, we're getting pranked. It's an April Fool's joke, right?
Oh, man.
AJ Storr will be leaving Kansas, will be entering the transfer portal, and will now play for his 8th team in the last 8 years. Is this news or noise?
All right, we say a lot of day one executive orders in a Lewis Ross administration. I think this is what we would hold up as example A of why we would institute you get to transfer once in your 4-year tenure as a college athlete. He transferred 4 times in 4 years as a high school athlete before even decommitting to St. John's before his freshman year there. Then he transfers to Wisconsin and he transfers to Kansas. Wherever he ends up here, this would be example A, Dave, of the ridiculousness that is the transfer portal right now.
I'll say this too. I don't want to get on AJ Storr for doing this. This is the rules that have been created, right? So if they're out there, we got to switch the rule. And I think that's what you're getting at, Jensen. Like, this is a problem that you've got kids now in 8 years. Look, you can go back and watch movies from the 90s and, like Blue Chips. And back then, this is exactly what they were foreshadowing all these decades later, that this is not about, come on. I don't think AJ Storr is going to all these different places for an education. It's just...
That or he's getting the greatest, most diversified education that you can get both on and off the court. This is either one shining moment, if you will, of why the transfer portal needs regulation upon regulation, or he's going to come out and do a 30 for 30 on ESPN. Of, guys, this is how you get an education in America. You go to all 4 corners of the country to try and get it. 4 different coaches. I mean, let's face it, the Hall of Famers that he's played for, very interesting in its own right. But my God, Dave, are we kidding? This is so end of the spectrum, it's not even funny.
Did a little poli-sci at St. John's, maybe a little philosophy at Wisconsin. Who knows what you're saying? I mean, it's amazing. 8 teams, 8 years. Cannot wait to see where he lands because he's going somewhere else.
Don't go to Vanderbilt, please.
How about the Blue Note in hockey? They tied a franchise record last night, winning their 11th straight game. They did that with a 5-4 win over Pittsburgh in overtime. They lost one of their best players, Dylan Holloway, during that game after blowing a 2-goal lead in the third. Is this news or noise that maybe we have to look to the Blue Note now as maybe more of a serious contender here in the West?
Well, critical, right? Because now they're in that top wild card spot, courtesy of this 11-game win streak. You just kind of look at where that playoff picture lines up. They've now circumvented, word of the day, circumvent the Wild there for that last playoff spot. And so when you think about where we are, we're getting down to the dwindling part of the schedule for the regular season. You now put Calgary and Vancouver in basically must-win scenarios all the way out to try and get into the postseason picture. So incredible job. And again, coming back from the blown lead to win it in OT. I'm still kicking myself that I didn't even just jump on. I told you what we do for the Cavs, the Cavalanche. You wait till they fall behind, get plus money, you bet the money line, and then it's sweat-free. Not that this was sweat-free by any means, but got to ride the highs, and certainly that's what the Blues are doing right now.
Yeah, and again, I don't know if they still play Gloria there when they won the Cup, but this is cool to see 11 in a row now for their franchise record to get that done last night. I do want to briefly touch, and again, we're going to have Zach Cohen on in hour number 3. We'll get to some more NBA there. But last night in the association, you saw the Warriors with a 123-116 win over the Lakers. Steph with 37 in that win. Are your opinions changing at all in the last week of the regular season, or is it almost like playing out the strings and the teams are the teams and the results now? And again, they were 1-point dogs last night in L.A. with that win. Does it really matter to you, or we know what the composition of these teams are going to look like going into the second season?
Well, I think it is intriguing because this is a potential playoff preview. And if the playoffs started today, Dave, it would be the Lakers hosting the Warriors in the first round. And so familiarity there of the recent competition against each other. You're also still looking at that 4 seed and the 8 seed for the Clippers is only separated by 2 games.
Ooh.
And so we will still have some shuffling of the deck here before we get to the end of the regular season for the Western Conference seeding purposes. And so Memphis hitting the buzzer beater last night from John Morant was critical for them to maintain their hold on the number 6 spot, again, by the tiebreaker over Minnesota. And so, yeah, it'll be intriguing to hear what Zach has to say about where he thinks this will all shake out.
And so to that end right now, the Warriors are the third betting choice in the West. After that win, they are still 7-1. The Lakers at plus 750. So if that's potentially the first round matchup, these are the third and fourth betting choices that we have out West. And potentially they're staring each other in the face for this first round matchup. Which ticket would you rather have? You talk about tried and true. We know exactly what LeBron and Luka getting to the finals last year, and certainly know about the Warriors and their championship pedigree. That feels like a coin flip of a series if that's what we get.
I guess I would lean on the team that plays a little bit more defense. So I'd have to go with Golden State and the Fugazi. That is the defensive player of the year odds now with Draymond Green. Let me take a step further. We've talked about, and JVT has said, it's the Oklahoma City Invitational here for the Western Conference playoffs. Who would you rather face if you're the Thunder? Would you rather face the Lakers or the Warriors in round 2?
Oh boy, it's not the same team, but it's the same issue of teams that have been there, done that, know how to win, and we're hoping to win. We think this is the time, right? We say it all the time in sports.
Yeah.
It's their time now. Is it? Because I think the Lakers and certainly the Warriors are going, this is the end of our, we know the state of the hourglass is going the other way. Theirs feels like it's open. So the urgency is going to be on those other teams. Boy, who would I rather play if I'm OKC? I can't believe I'm going to say it. I'd rather play the Lakers.
Lakers, thank you. I just don't think they got enough defense. I mean, if you're thinking about a guy you don't want to stare down the barrel of in the postseason with the game on the line, I want nothing to do with Steph Curry potentially beating me because he can beat me from anywhere.
Yep.
Can you say that about Luka? Yeah, but I don't know if I'm as scared of Luka and LeBron as I would be of Steph, because Steph just finds a way, man. Finds a way. And he's dropped these 50 burgers with relative ease where he's just taken a game over himself. We've yet to kind of see that happen with either Luka and or LeBron.
I just want to point this out. The Grizzlies right now are 55-1 to win the West. They get a win last night against Miami at the buzzer. They don't cover the number. They win by 2. The issue is not that. The issue today is John Morant did a finger gun gesture after winning that, and he's been warned by the league.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if I was going to hop on a Memphis Grizzlies ticket or not, but I wonder if there's going to be some sort of intervention now by the league and if he could be facing a suspension because he's already been warned for this. So, look, Jensen, you know me. I don't care. Whatever you do whatever you want to do. It's fingers. It's not going to bother me. But when you have the history that he has and the league has told you directly you can't do this, and then you do this, I just wonder if I'd shy away that potentially we've seen it with Draymond Green historically, where he takes himself out of some of the biggest games. I mean, he's walking a thin line here.
Sure. Yeah, it may not matter because right now they're matched up potentially with the Nuggets, and we know that once you get to the postseason, Jokic and company know how to button everything up and get it going. So it may be self-destruct there with John Morant and company. I tell you what, watching them, no question, it's a track meet. I mean, they're up and down. There is no waiting around. They get it and they go. So from an excitement factor, boy, what a contrasting style there between Denver and Memphis if they do match up.
And again, it does feel like if that's why they are firing Taylor Jenkins, and that's the reason why you do. It's a tangible. You can see the change.
Oh yeah,
in the pace that they're playing with, and maybe that's working out for John Morant. If he didn't like the old offense, just abide by what they want.
Focus on basketball.
That's it.
Just play the game.
We love watching you play.
Yeah, but
stop removing yourself potentially for doing stuff that I don't truly care about, but the league seems to care about it.
Yeah.
They're warning you about it. You probably should take heed to it. Summer special is here right now at VSiN. So for $59, Jensen, tell the people very quickly how much you look at those betting splits daily.
Every day. And again, because of where our show is, we get that first kind of look early. And today's a perfect example with about 6 games on the Major League Baseball day slate. Perfect time to be able to get that early and often. Beat those line moves for sure with those betting splits.
Can't stress it enough. So get started right now. VSiN.com/subscribe. It's just $59 right now through August 1st, but that's not going to last. So get on it. It's our VSiN Pro Summer Special. Tim Murray to kick off hour number 3 next year. VSiN by the books.